No, this isn't a routine about how much fun you can have with your bum, although I'm told you can have a lot of fun with your bum indeed. And if you find this rant too long and won't play it through in full, I'll summarise it for you. George Bum Cropper is an easily offended, hateful little man. Yes, this routine is all about my personal troll and instigator of the recent month-long hate campaign against me, George Bum. He calls himself that. Of Bum Fun Software, a ZX Spectrum software publishing company. That's right, he calls his software house Bum Fun Software. Yeah, apparently, because when he entered a three-letter name in the high scores and arcade machines he played when he was young, he used the three letters B, U, and M. It's a rather unfortunate name for a software company, however, as I'm sure you'll agree. I had no idea this was why he named his company in this rather inappropriate manner, and when I left him a trolling comment on one of his videos, after he thoroughly trolled my Facebook group for Future Vision Retro Game Publishing House, now defunct, due to the fact that I dared even speculate about charging $4.99 US for a digital download of an original retro game. Oh, it wasn't straight away, of course. I'm not even that much of a troll. It was after I private messaged him on Facebook, asking him why he was trolling me, and who the hell was he anyway? He didn't like that one bit. He had a major conniption over it and proclaimed, "You should know who I am. You invited me here," or something along those lines. But no, I didn't. My well-meaning community manager, Brian, did, thinking we could work together, as George had a software company, and I was planning to launch one. Except Mr. Bum was running a ZX Spectrum software house, and we all know how crappy that retro platform is. Am I right? Actually, it wasn't even then that I left the comment. One of my group members was seemingly trolling me in public on my group, and I just don't tolerate that shit. But I always private message a suspected troll before permanently blocking them, because hey, if I do that, they'll no longer be able to bask in my brilliance. So this guy claimed he was innocent, and when I pointed out he joined the group at the same time as George, he proclaimed that he'd also been viciously trolled by my personal troll. He showed me this video. I'll show the video here. And then said George had only trolled him because he was another retro enthusiast, and this bum fellow was vindictive and nasty. This clicked with me, of course, and I immediately left a rather nasty comment on said video. This is what caused a month-long hate campaign against me, so I must have horribly offended poor George with my comment. And little did I know this member of mine was one of George's close friends, and the video was a roast that he actually asked him to do on him. My personal troll gleefully informed me of this in a later email, and I was quite shocked to say the least. I had been targeted by this guy, and he had one of his mates feed me this story, just so I would react and give him more ammunition. It's like the Scott Tinnerman episode of South Park, except I was Scott and George was Cartman, but it wouldn't end with me eating my parents in a chili cook-off, however. Yeah. Judge for yourself whether this was something justifying my personal troll to record a 41-minute hate cast on Podbean and then inspire his many followers to follow it up with a hate campaign based around it, and when I had Podbean tell them to remove it within 24 hours. This is the offending comment with my own commentary. Would you like me to make a video roasting you, Mr. Bum? After needlessly trolling my Future Vision Designs Retro Game Publishing House closed Facebook group? After my community administrator left the project for you with no word to me? Would you like me to take you down a peg, Mr. Bum Fun? Do you like anal sex? That's what you seem to be promoting, so I'll have to assume that you're a homosexual. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I wish you all the cock in the world. That's a reference to Bum Fun Software, of course, and in my honest opinion, he was asking for that. This was the comment that caused so much offence. George Bum is a bigot as well. Apparently being called a homosexual when your dick doesn't work is the worst thing in the world. He actually told me this pretty much in one of his many abusive emails. I'll go on. Do you think your snarky, pseudo-intelligent roasting of a fellow YouTuber is a worthwhile use for your channel? Do you enjoy trolling from the comfort of your wheelchair? Okay. Keep in mind that I had asked him if he wanted me to roast him, and this is exactly what I was doing. The poor guy is confined to a wheelchair, does enjoy trolling, and is snarky and pseudo-intelligent. Little did I know he did think this was a worthwhile use of his channel, and as I found out about 2 weeks later, when he posted Software Quest, a YouTube role-playing game. Well, more like a simple choose-your-own-adventure, filled with vindictive and nasty slanderous comments about me personally, my intentions, and about my potentially competing software house. Oh, he changed the names, of course, and eventually changed the initial video so it didn't have a pixelized version of one of my Facebook photos, apparently to avoid me sticking YouTube onto him for defamation. Well, for a few days, I couldn't even find a way to report him for defamation, which YouTube take very seriously. So seriously, in fact, the complaint form came with a little warning that I could lose my account if I was lying. But I wasn't telling any fibs. This interactive video was pure defamation, and I eventually found the link to reporting for defamation a few days later. Who knows if anything will come of that, but I couldn't give 2 fucks anyway. The video is actually pretty funny if you're a small-minded, vindictive little troll. Which is apparently George's whole ZX Spectrum loving community. Yeah. Back to the offending comment in question. I've been running a YouTube tutorial screencast for just over 2 weeks now, and I have more than 130 subscribers and 1,500 total video views. I haven't achieved that by attacking my fellow YouTubers with brutal, abusive bullshit. This is the complete truth. I've never trolled anyone on my C64 Kodaking channel, unless of course you count my long play of Software Quest on this channel, where I spent 15 minutes playing through his hateful and vindictive little game, and then ended the video saying it was a hateful and slanderous piece of shit. And it really is. This guy must have spent hours developing it. Didn't he have better things to do? Like publishing crappy ZX Spectrum software? Apparently not. Back to it. Perhaps you'd like to roast me. I welcome it. And we'll go to war against your channel and put your bum fun claim to fame until you are wailing naked in the corner of a mental ward where you should have been all along. Oh man. Well, it was here that I took the roasting a little too far. I actually goaded him to go to war against me, but I didn't think he would have the time or inclination to take this threat seriously. Seems like he was bigoted against people with mental illness as well. And hey, I'm one of those people, so I should know. This is the consequence of being such a disgusting person and bully, and relying on your subscribers to support your hate and bile. This is also the complete truth. Only such a disgusting person and bully would rely on his supporters to support his hate and bile. And I would find out just how far he would take this soon enough. Back to the final paragraph. Pathetic. Pathetic and balding. You'll just delete this comment before your subscribers see it, because you are weak. Now I know what you're capable of, and how low you will sink. Don't expect me to hold back if you provoke me once more. Well, from my perspective, he had made a pathetic, vindictive attack on a fellow YouTuber. Okay, I had been conned. And how? But I didn't wait for him to delete the comment. I realised already by this point that I made a huge mistake by pressing submit, and immediately deleted the comment. Unfortunately, YouTube just doesn't work like that, and he received the deleted message anyway. Probably fell out of his wheelchair with rage when he realised he couldn't respond to it. And check out the photo of this guy. He does look pathetic and balding. Poor guy, probably couldn't get a fuck even if his dick did work. It's slow there, guys. So, he went ahead and made a 41-minute hateful podcast, full of slanderous defamation, which incidentally broke Podbean's terms of use completely, and he was lucky he didn't lose his fledgling podcast channel as well. He had a total of 3 podcasts on there, and one of them was this Too Long Didn't Listen podcast, and I still haven't listened to it. I literally listened to the first minute and knew exactly what it was. A vindictive attack by a sexually frustrated little man with too much time in his hands. Because he couldn't pass the time with a good wank after all. Yeah. And that's it, folks. The horrendous comment that led to a month of concerted hateful trolling from Mr. Bum and his many followers, where I was trolled by a dozen of his tools every day on Facebook, and my business associates were hounded so far I was eventually unable to do business. Deals fell through, and I had to cancel a planned launch of a C64 game development competition on New Year's Eve, which I'd already hinted at on Twitter. Thankfully, I had none of this drama on Twitter, because Twitter is awesome, and possibly because feeble-minded tools don't know how to search for my name on that platform. I had the worst New Year's Eve of my life, and if I was a weaker person, I surely would have had a nervous breakdown over it. My business plan was totally ruined, and I had nothing to look forward to in 2017. Well, I'd hit rock bottom. If I hadn't cried in 20 years, I would have bawled my eyes out all night. Believe me, I tried, but God damn it, if the power to shed a tear hadn't been taken away from me years ago. Don't laugh then. But this had a contrary effect on me the next day. I realised I could still produce the Clicker Pro joystick, as it appealed to retro communities on all platforms. And I also realised that I didn't give two fucks about these random trolls that didn't know me from a bar of shit. I developed a superpower. I was immune to trolls! The very next day, I wrote my first internet marketing book, or the first 5,000 words of it, How to Make Random Friends and Influence People, all about my experiences of the past 2 months. And shortly after I launched this channel, I recorded my first bad karaoke tribute to the Clicker Pro, which, while it's pretty badly sung, I admit, is a clever little bit of viral marketing. The rest is history, and at the time I wrote this routine, George Bum and his followers were still happily trolling me, which is fine by me, because as I think you'll agree, it makes excellent comedic content. Yep. Yeah, and that's my sad and sorry story before I won the game and learned to love the trolls, which is also the subtitle of my book. So it's goodbye from me, and hello to trolls. Hello, possums.